and no wind factor at all. Here's Danmeier's kick to Strutty. It's short. Being taken by McCoy at the 15-yard line. McCoy gets good run back yardage to the 28-yard line. The offensive setup for the Green Bay Packers. Lynn Dickey, Huckleby, the former Michigan Wolverine, will be in there at the tailback spot. Gary Ellis, who can catch it and run with it. Lofton and JJ at the outside. Jefferson had 7 catches against Minnesota in his first game. Kaufman, Stokes, Goforth, McCarrett, Leotis Harris, and Greg Cook, the right tackle. They do have some problems pass blocking. First offensive set for Green Bay. That's Kaufman in motion, the tight end. The drive to Huckleby off the left side. He gets perhaps 1 yard and runs into a lot of purple. Here's the defense. They went to the 34 a year ago. Doug Martin, James Duck White playing the nose, and Randy Holloway, because Mulaney has a sprained ankle, will not play. Good-looking linebackers, Blair, Seaman, Studwell, and McNeil. Blair might have a strained back. We'll watch him closely. Turner, Teal at the corners, Kurtnoff, and Tommy Hannon, and the secondary is really coming around. They're very solid right now. Second down and 8. Man in motion is JJ to the top. Stays down off the right side. This is Ellis. Gets out to the 34. Dragging people with it. Studwell making the tackle. Big Scott had 8 unassisted tackles against the Atlanta Falcons. A very tough loss for Minnesota. A game they could have won. They just let get away, didn't they, Raj?
Boy, they sure did. It was a tough game. The psychology of it worked against them, losing in the second half after having such a good first half. You know, Green Bay they want to run the football. They want to get a running game going. That'll help their pass protection, because that has been a weak spot for them. And as we mentioned, Dickey was stacked 8 times against these same Vikings not too long ago.
Third down 4. They're not a good third down conversion team. Dickey back, getting one at a time. And it bounces, almost intercepted by Jeff Seaman. The ball was in and out of the hands of Harlan Huckleby and should have been caught for a first down. What might have been. Dickey had the time that time.
Well, he did, and you saw him jumping around a little bit. He had a play called to the wide receivers. They were doubled on the outside, and he had the backs hooking up in those short areas, and actually he came back to his alternate receiver, Huckleby, threw it in there nicely. It would have been a first down. Huckleby just dropped the pass.
Stakowitz will make his first punt. The rookie, the high draft choice, sometimes good, sometimes average. And back is Eddie Payton, Walter's big brother. A bad kick off the side of the foot and low. It'll be returned. Nope, it may just be allowed to bounce. And Minnesota gets great field position on the very first shot out of the box. It's going to be on the 38-yard line, a 27-yard punt. Here's the Minnesota offense, and they can tool it up. A good, solid offensive line. It's Kramer, Ted Brown. He had 109 yards rushing against Green Bay the first game. Ricky Young, Ahmad Rashad, and Sammy White. Sensor, the tight end that's out of sight. Riley, Huff, Swilly, Wes Hamilton, and Ron Yeri. They are a solid offensive line. Here's Kramer's first play from the, call it the 39-yard line. I formation, handoff. Oh, the fake. Kramer going right away to Sensor. It has it into Green Bay territory. Mark Murphy made the tackle, and Kramer doesn't waste any time.
Oh, he sure doesn't. Here's the play-action fake right here. They're faking the ball inside. That holds the linebackers, and Sensor hooks in that area over the middle and makes a nice catch. So he was tightly covered that time by, I guess it was John Anderson was in on the play. But the play-action fake is a good play against the 3-4 defense. You hold those linebackers just a tad to play for the run, and you got some open area in that 10 to 12-yard zone.
And of course, Sensor has now 61 catches. Here's the toss. Back to Ted Brown. He's got a good block by Yeri. And Brown rolls inside the 40, and a flag is down. A good-looking running back, Ted Brown. When he's healthy, the Vikes seem to have the good rushing game as well. It's going to be holding against the Vikes.
Well, that was called very quickly, so someone reached their arm out immediately. You have to get around that corner, and you have to stop pursuit, the force man, and someone probably hooked either the tight end or someone in that tight wing set.
Here's
we'll
Pat
see
Haggerty.
right here.
Pat Haggerty's a man.
Holding, number 81, offense.
Mr. Sensor, the tight end, wrapping on.
Well, his job is to...
Here's the defense now. Up front, Butler is probably the best defensive lineman. Terry Jones, Ezra Johnson starting for the pass rush. Good linebacking. Anderson, Wingo, Cumby, and Douglas are all hitters, and they can move. The secondary, Mark Lee, McCoy at the corners, Mark Murphy and Maurice Harvey improving safety men. They're pretty good back there. First down and 20 now. Kramer back to throw. He's being rushed. Dumps it off. It's in and out of the hands of number 34, Ricky Young. Down at 20. Terry LeCount is in now. Rashad and Sammy White are out to the left in sort of a trips formation. Kramer looks like he might be checking it off. Here he is, back to throw. Quick setup, keeps dancing, finds a receiver. That's Brown right at midfield. Barely into Packer territory. George Cumby grabbed him right away. The third down and 13 called by Kramer. Tommy Kramer going high, wide, is caught. Wide open is Rashad. He's going to score. The under back, Maurice Harvey, made a gamble on the catch, and wide opens number 28. His third touchdown catch in the last 2 games, and this one's just getting started.
Well, that was poor judgment on Harvey's part, and also a good play by Kramer. Watch Kramer look him off right here. He kind of looks to the outside, and then he lays it deep. Harvey made a gamble and came up underneath. Rashad stopped, and his job is to take away the deep threat. Of course, Rashad scores, and it's all on Harvey. Mike McCoy came up short. Kramer looked at Rashad in that short area. Harvey went for it. It's really a good job on Kramer's part that time. Look at Harvey off.
A 50-yard touchdown pass, the 6th touchdown reception for Rashad, and Danmeier is kicking out of Nord's hole. A new holder. It's down, it's up. This one's good. And now Danmeier will kick off from the 35. Turdell Middleton and Mike McCoy waiting for it. McCoy has about a 23-yard kickoff return average. Young man from Colorado. Here's Danmeier's kick. Straightaway basic kick, and it's short at about the 10-yard line. It's bounced. Middleton now picks it up. Turdell Middleton gets a hole up the middle and works his way out over the 20-yard line to the 21.
Especially early in the game to let Minnesota get out of the bag so quickly.
First down and 10 on the 21. Back to throw Dickey. He has a lot of time going to the outside, and out of bounds is Huckleby. Matt Blair was right there, and Huckleby just didn't get the sidelines under his shoes. Should Dickey throw short patterns, or should he think about trying to go deep? What's going on?
Well, he had a play action that time, and he had Jefferson down on the deep curl in, and he had a choice, and he went to the outside. You know, early in the game, again, the concepts hit the backs, take advantage of the backs on the linebackers. The linebackers then start playing tighter, then you can go downfield. If you start downfield immediately, you have those linebackers that become a factor, especially later on in the game.
Of course, play pass action is only good if you can rush the football. And right now, the Packers have not shown the big rushing game. It's second down and 10. The ball's out on the 21. J.J. coming back, stays in the slot inside with a fumble, and the Vikings have it. The Vikings have the fumble as Dickey pulled away from McCarron, and Duck White, the nose tackle, makes the recovery. Wow, the Vikings are threatening to blow this thing open in the first quarter.
Well, the Packers in pregame, here's the play right here, and he just drops the ball from the center in an exchange problem. Either he pulled out too quick, or the center sometimes will snap the ball and hit against the side of his leg, but that's an automatic right there. That shouldn't happen in professional football, but you see it happen now and then. And, of course, it's very costly. And the next time the quarterback gets in there, he worries about it. So it not only hurts you now, it's the problem worrying about the next time.
And Kramer might go upstairs right away and put you in a state of shock. By the way, McCarron, the offensive center, a very stable force for the Packers, is starting his 92nd consecutive game. So I would have to think he's been snapping pretty much the same way for quite a few seasons.
Well, now is the time that you really try to get into the end zone on a turnover quickly. Kramer's 3 out of 4 for 71 yards and 1 TD. Of course, the big one to Rashad, so he might just take advantage of that turnover and get 6.
High formation, Ricky Young and Ted Brown. Brown out of North Carolina State gets the toss back out to the left side. Doesn't get much, gets inside the 15. As we said, the Packer linebackers are excellent. Mike Douglas up quickly.
Well, they did exactly as we predicted, Tom. That's why we're analysts up here.
It's a lot safer. Ted Brown is not a good practice player. And I've seen some greats on Sunday that didn't like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But he limped around all week like he was going to fail the show. But somehow he gets well.
He was beat up in that Atlanta game and rested during the week. But game day, they say he's as as tough and gritty as anybody on game day.
Second down 5. Kramer flagging it. Going for 6. It's a touchdown. He flagged the ball. Kramer, with that the quick feet and the quick arm, has Joe Sensor, the Westchester State #6 round draft choice. Got to be one of the greatest of all time. And he picks up the touchdown.
Well, here it is. Kramer is, again, looking for the tight end. He pumps deep to the outside, comes over, lets Sensor get around the linebacker, and someone tripped. I don't know. Willie Teal got over there late, but it looked like one of the linebackers tripped, either Cumbie or Wingo, and Sensor found the middle of that seam right there. And it's tough when that linebacker is responsible for that short area, and he tripped, and Kramer took advantage of it.
He's becoming a folk hero. His 7th touchdown catch this year for the tight end, Joe Sensor. Danmeier's kick is good. And suddenly, what looked like it was going to be a tight game might be a rout. It's 14-0 Minnesota. And the Pack ain't got much. Only the coach could play. Bart Starr.
Well, Bart is really in a situation right now, the way the season's gone. He's had his ups and downs, and there's the controversy as far as where he's going to be and if he's going to stay with Green Bay. And today was a big day for the Packers. They were ready. I talked to them before the game, and to get off to this shaky start, they're going to have to really have a comeback.
Freddie Nixon with a good run back from the 10 to the 30, and the Packers do have decent field position and will get another shot at it.
The reason they're going to have the comeback, Tom, is when you have to throw the football, of course, and their offensive line has given up some sacks, you're in trouble. You need to mix up the run and the pass a little bit to get those big passing plays. You're going to have too much pressure on you. So right now, 14-0. The Vikings can tee off.
That Cincinnati score was a Kenny Anderson to Pete Johnson pass, the fullback. Buffalo with a Ferguson to Butler touchdown pass has Washington down, and here's the toss back to Ellis. Ellis gets outside, gets away from 2 people stiff arming, and picks up some yardage right into his own bench, into the Green Bay bench. Both teams on this old natural turf ball yard are on the same side of the field. Roger, did that ever bother you when you with Dallas coming in here?
Well, here's the penalty also, Tommy. It can. It just depends on, if you're at the far end of the field and you have to send the specialty people in on 3rd downs and you don't get them in time, of course, it's a problem, but you can adjust to that. Green Bay was worried about it because they like to bring in a lot of people on 3rd down.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 81. Offense.
Now, nothing's going right now for Green Bay.
Terry Lewis, the young man, the rookie, illegal use of the hands. How many ways can you err in this game and live? They're down 14-0 early. 10:25 still left in the first period. 3rd possession for Lynn Dickey. Remember, he's got James Lofton and Johnny Jefferson as his 2 outside receivers. You've got to be able to find a way to get the ball to one of those guys.
Well, that's the positive thing. The other thing is you got to protect the quarterback when you know you're going to be throwing the football. Minnesota has got a good pass rush, especially when they send Blair or McNeil, their linebackers.
Pat Haggerty making some kind of a instruction, and it's now 1st down and 20 for the Packers. On the 21. Here's the fake. Fakes the screen out to the left, and now screen right. Ellis has it and has some blocking. Pretty good defensive play, and Ellis gets out over the 26-yard line. Tommy Hannon, the safety man, making the tackle. Looked like it was going to go for big yardage.
Well, it did. Here's the play right here. It's a fake in, a fake to the left, and he comes back, and you have the people pulling out, Leotis Harris and Goforth, the Larry McCarron, the center, but it's a good job right there by John Turner. He really gets off the block and forces Ellis to the outside, and Hannon's able to clean up. So it really wasn't good blocking, even though you had blockers out in front to let a cornerback pretty much stymie the play. 2nd
down and 14. Ball's now on the 27. Packers shocked with 2 touchdowns. Bang, bang. It's 14-0. Kaufman moves back to the left side. Here's Dickey now. Play action, gets back. He's got time. Overthrows. Almost intercepted, and the flags are flying.
Well,
they're call offensive interference, I believe.
I think they're going to change their mind because that ball was tipped. Number 27, John Turner, they're going to call it. But once the ball is tipped, then he hit the receiver. I don't think they'll give it to him on a penalty. They shouldn't.
Matt Blair is up there pleading the Minnesota case. It went off his hands.
Well, he's got a good case.
Offensive interference.
I bet they change their mind. They'll change their mind here, Tom.
Defensive pass interference, number 27. 1st down.
Well, I guess they're not going to change their mind.
Number 27. The ball was spiked. There it is by Blair.
See, there's the tip. Now, the referee is saying on that judgment right there is that he was hit actually before the ball was tipped, but that is extremely close. Now, he definitely was hit, but to me it looked like after the ball was tipped. So it's a judgment call, and
John Turner was covering Johnny Jefferson very closely, and this time he got caught. First down, out on the 41-yard line. Under 9.5 minutes left. JJ is out to the right, and James Lofton, maybe the most dangerous receiver in all of football, is split out far to the left. The officials are having some problems getting their act coordinated too. There's Dickey on first down. Inside drive. Ellis gets out to the 44-yard line. Mullaney is not playing, and Randy Holloway has moved over to the left side, and Doug Martin has moved into that right defensive end spot. Ellis is some athlete, though. He can catch it. He's a pretty good inside runner, and they actually got him, and the Rams cut him a year ago.
Well, the Rams had those holdouts in training camp. They came into camp. They really didn't give Ellis. They liked Ellis. They just had to get rid of some people, and they got rid of the wrong guy. This Gary Ellis has had over 600 yards rushing, 47 receptions, and he's been the stalwart in the Green Bay backfield.
The man you're talking about, Roger, just gets away from one tackler. Seaman gets a shot at number 25, forced him out of bounds, curtain off. It's going to be short of the first down. He's a good-looking outside runner, too. I think that might be the big surprise, that he has the speed to bounce outside.
Well, the Vikings were very worried about him. The last game they played, Ellis was not in the game. The Vikings have a lot of respect for Ellis, and they feel that's one of the real steals in the league, getting him from the Rams. And it's a concern for the Viking staff when a team picks up a player like that in your division.
The Vikings, of course, are very tough at home. They're 5-1 here this year and lead 14-0 on a clear, cool day, about 33 degrees. It's not a factor. It's just nice. Third down and 2. Short pickup now as JJ flies through. The drive. That's Huckleby. Huckleby breaks out. There's a flag thrown.
That's holding.
Huckleby gets to the Minnesota 40. Curtin off making the tackle, and it looks like it was thrown right in the offensive line.
It's right around the center guard position, probably McCarron or... These referees are getting a lot more accurate now. They're actually throwing the flag at the guy that did the deed.
I used to try to eat the flag. That didn't work either. Boy, Dickey's having a problem getting anything going.
Usually you can tell the guy that did it, he puts his head down also.
Holding, number 54, offense.
Larry McCarron, the veteran offensive center.
Yeah. Here's McCarron, number 54. He's got his hands inside, but maybe that left arm is around the back. Now, as long as you keep your arms inside, they won't call it. But if you get your arms outside of the arms of the defender, they'll call it. That time, that looked a little suspect to me.
Sure did. Third penalty against Green Bay. Kaufman going in motion.
Whoops.
It looked like Martin might have jumped offside. Dickey's got a free one heading for JJ, and it's underthrown and out of bounds. Looked like big Doug Martin out of Washington might have jumped over and...
Offside, defense.
It's Pat Haggerty. I'll give you the officials. Pat Haggerty, Dave Moss is the head linesman. Terry Gerke is the line judge. Walt Peters, the back judge. Jimmy Poole, the side judge. Dave Perry, the field judge. And Bob Lewis. Cast of thousands. Here's Pat Haggerty.
Offside, 79, defense, third down.
A 3rd and long, 3rd and 7. Haven't gotten the ball to Lofton yet. Not only one of the fastest receivers, but he can jump over the bleachers. Got to find a way to get it to him, too, don't
They've got to get it to Lofton Jefferson, especially the quick way Minnesota scored. There's going to be a lot of points in the Vikings that Green Bay is going to have to keep up. They're going to have to get the ball Lofton Jefferson.
Minnesota's not a big blitzing team, but they're crowding the line of scrimmage this time. Here comes the 4-man rush. Almost intercepted by number 45, who came across making a good play, Tommy Hannon, trying for Kaufman down the middle.
One thing unusual about that play, they had Jefferson coming inside, and the safeties were going back to the outsides, but without a wide receiver threat to that one side, they can close in that middle. The concept is to have wide receivers to the outside to tie up the safeties and send that tight end down the middle, but that was very clogged up in the middle with Hannon and Knopf, and there wasn't much of a chance by Kaufman. He almost got the rebound off of Hannon, though.
Ray Sakowitz, his second punt. His first one was a 22-yarder. Eddie Payton is waiting for it. This is a good kick. It's hanging. Payton at the 19. Eddie Payton now reversing, gets a little bit of a room, and now he's pulled down at the 27-yard line. Good coverage by Green Bay on Stakowitz's punt. And the Packers have held. Cumbie made that tackle. And so far, Minnesota's made all the points. Metropolitan Stadium. Of course, the Vikings will be moving into Hubert Humphrey, the late Hubert Humphrey, the great senator from this state, the downtown indoor dome facility. But right now, we're outdoors on natural grass. And this young man can go indoors or outdoors. Tommy Kramer. Back to throw on 1st and 10 from his 20s. It's a lot of time. Finds, I believe, Brown. Or Sammy White, maybe, down over the 30-yard line. As number 50 had to make the tackle, Rich Wingo. That was Sammy White's first catch of the day.
Well, Tommy's learned a lesson that he's admitted himself. You can go downfield if the receivers are open on first down, wide open, but take the sure thing. Hitting the back 4 or 5 yards is as good as a run, and he's doing a lot more of that since the middle of last year. He's really taken what the defense gives him, and that's the key for a quarterback. Take what you can get. Don't get greedy.
2nd down and 4, and Kramer is greedy. Back to throw time, dumps it off to Brown. Brown pulls people out over the 35 to the 36. John Anderson, the linebacker, again making the tackle. It looks like he's putting all the receivers out into the pattern and just hooking up people on the edge of those little zones on that 34 defense.
Well, that 3-4 defense, you've got a tight end that can go over the middle, the 2 backs in the seam, and you can work 1, 2, 3 right across the way. If the linebackers come up and play too tight, then again you get into the secondary with the deep in routes, the deep sidelines, and Kramer's working a good game here against the 3-4 defense. That's the way to do it.
There's Ted Brown, came in with 70, already has 1, of course, for his 71st reception. He's also a heck of a good 1,000-yard rusher. We saw him take Tampa Bay apart. Here's the toss. Back to Brown, running left. Nowhere to go this time. He's really going to have a problem. Packers everywhere. Good defensive surge. George Cumbie leading the way, and they are a bunch of assassins. They're very active.
Well, the Packers really have 4 linebackers that do a good job. They pursue well, and of course here's Douglas, number 53. He's having a great year. Last week he had some problems against Tampa, but overall he's had a fine year with some sacks and some interceptions, and he really contains that play. He doesn't let Brown get outside, and that gives the inside people a chance to clean up.
Good play by McCoy, the cornerback, who came up with the linebackers. Sammy White, Rashad. Back to the left side. Terry LeCount is sort of lined up at a wing position, so you got 3 good outside receivers on the left side now. LeCount goes right. Kramer sort of sprinting out to his right. He's going to throw back on a screen to Brown. Brown gets 1 block and gets hit, breaks a tackle, still breaking tackles, and gets to the 46-yard line on a supreme effort. The 200-pounder just kept it going. Murphy finally making the tackle.
Well, Ted limped around all week. This time he's sprinting out to the right, fakes a little bit, throws back, gets the momentum of the Packers going one way, comes back the other way. A good block that time by Jim Huff, or Wes Hamilton, number 61. And that brings Brown into the secondary. Guy that limped around during the week doesn't look like anything's hurting right now.
And he runs right over a good linebacker. He ran through George Cumbie, the linebacker here.
Kramer's just looking back. Not a whole lot of pressure on him that time.
He wanted it that time, didn't he? So
no.
He could dump it,
Terry
right?
Jones, one of those people coming in, and he did a good job getting rid of the ball.
1st and 10 on the 46, straight ahead for just a couple. That's to make everybody sit down and play honest again. Ted Brown, straight ahead. We saw the Vikings take on Tampa Bay, which is a very physical team. And the Vikings never look like they are, but he had a tremendous rushing day, 129 yards or something, and they were very physical, the Vikings were, against Tampa Bay. Few scores. Cincinnati now, 2 Kenny Anderson touchdown passes, the latest one to Collinsworth, and they're giving Cleveland a real beating early in that game in Cleveland. Pittsburgh leading Los Angeles 7-0. New England on top of St. Louis 7-3. Sam Cunningham just scored a touchdown. New England's having their problems, but they're leading today so far. It's early. 2nd down 6. Kramer, cool as a cucumber, inside. to Ted Brown, who leans forward to probably the 47-yard line. You were with him at a couple of Pro Bowls, weren't you?
Yeah, he's quiet on the sidelines, doesn't show a lot of emotion, but he's got a great sense of humor. I remember our first day of practice.
Come on. Does he really?
Oh, he's really got great dry humor. The first day of practice, I was kneeling in the huddle ready to call a play, and he came over and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "I didn't know you could call a play." And it was all downhill after that with Bud Grant. He really...
That may be a secret. He wears very well. Win or lose, he really protects his team and his assistants.
Yeah, he's a very personable guy.
3rd down and 2. 3rd and 2 short. You got to be careful with a guy like Tommy Kramer. Too much time. He let it go. He tried to check off, didn't he? Tried to check off to 2:34.
Yep.
How about this bandito Kramer, though? He's something, isn't he?
Well,
he's got sort of a reputation as a guy in the fast lane. Doesn't he?
He's settled down a lot. He's settled down off the field a bit. And as a quarterback, since the second half of last year, he's played as well as anybody in the National Football League. Very disappointed in his performance last week. He had some open receivers. He threw 4 touchdown passes, but he also had 4 interceptions against Atlanta. And he came out the second half, and they couldn't move the ball, and that gave Atlanta a new life. And he's been really upset about that all week.
A 5-man rush coming on. The blitz. He steps inside, gets hit, and still delivers it. But he really got drilled by Big Butler, number 77, Mike Butler. The middle linebacker came up with a 4-man rush, trying for Rashad, I believe.
Well, the pressure really gets this ball thrown poorly in front of Rashad, and Butler does come around, but the pressure came also inside from the linebackers, and also number 53, Mike Douglas, was probably the key guy that flashed and caused Kramer to throw that ball poorly.
Coleman's first punt of the afternoon, a beautiful sunny day, and by the way, the return men, Nixon and McCoy, will be looking into that sun. It's right in their eyes. That's Middleton and Nixon. This is going over toward Nixon. Should be out of bounds. Let's see where they're going to mark it. Going to be about the 18-yard line, 19, maybe the 21. Official is walking like he's in some kind of a trance. Coleman can't believe it. It's 14-0 Minnesota. Last time this season, they move into that $55 million beauty downtown where the parking's going to be rough, but 63,000 seats there to watch the Vikings. But this is a great place to come. A lot of great football has been played on this old turf right here. 1st and 10 now. The ball's in the 23, and Lynn straight back to throw. Dickey going deep. He's got Lofton out in front, and it's almost intercepted by number 25, Kurt Knopf. Boy, Lofton was behind the secondary man by 5 yards.
Well, Dickey waited just a little bit too long, and then, of course, that prevented him from getting the distance on the ball. He had Lofton going by. He was trying to look off the safety from getting over for some help, and of course that caused the problem, and he just didn't have the distance on the football.
Lofton's a 4'3" something 40 man and can long jump about 26 feet, and he had it. He was open. The ball still traveled 55 yards, and it was short of him. Dickey's numbers, 1 for 5, and fighting City Hall here in Minnesota. They're tough. JJ is in motion. Dickey straight back now. No more play pass action. He's got to throw it. Coming under is Lofton, making his first catch to the 27. Scott Studwell digging him. The 2 most expensive players, I guess, on the Packers are JJ and Lofton. They're both making about $20, right?
They're doing all right, and they deserve it the way they play football. Of course, he came underneath in his pattern this time, underneath the linebackers for a short gain. One good thing, the Packer offensive line is doing a pretty good job giving him protection. That could pay off before the day is over, because these guys are going to make some big plays in the passing game. 4-man rush now in for Minnesota on 3rd and 5. This will test you. This will make sure everybody's got a man on the line of scrimmage to protect him. Ellis, the fullback's in motion. Dickey straight back now. He's getting the time. Delivers, and Ellis catches it at the 34. Gets the first down. A good move out to the 37-yard line. Fred McNeil taking a ride. Let's go to New York right now for an NFL update. Brent, you got it.
All right, Brookie, thank you so much. The Pittsburgh Steelers are really carving up the Los Angeles Rams. Trap play here, no one to trap, and Franco Harris goes 51 yards. He has scored 1 touchdown, 8 carries, 70 yards. Pat Hayden has just been helped off the field. He was injured. The Steelers have intercepted. They're going in for a 3rd time. Back now to Brookie.
Don't count the Steelers out. They are not only thinking perhaps a wild card, they may even try to win that division. Cincinnati's leading today, too, though. Inside drive with the tight end coming back inside, and Ellis gets out over the 45 to the 46. Studwell again making the tackle. Good-looking play inside.
Now the Packers have settled down. They need a good drive here. They need to score, get on the board very quickly after the shaky start they had. But they are moving the ball on the ground a little bit. Every time the Packers get into a 2nd and 8 or 9, though, Minnesota's bringing in the 4-man rush, expecting the pass. And if they can get some running going, it's going to help Dickey a great deal.
Short yardage offense. Jim Jensen, the former Dallas fullback, is in there. Number 33. Here's Kaufman in motion. The drive play. Huckleby. Oh, breaks it out. Gets into Minnesota territory. Tommy Hannon making the tackle. Pretty good blocking up front. The whole series for Green Bay. Makes a big difference now when Lynn Dickey has to fire off one of those rounds passing when you rush the football a little bit.
It makes a heck of a difference. Huckleby's done a decent job inside, and Ellis also. I think the passing game also is going to be vulnerable against Minnesota going to Kaufman, the tight end, because they're doubling both wide receivers.
Dickey has time, throws it, and Lofton makes a circus catch on the outside, gets the feet down, and he's at about the 36-yard line. John Turner couldn't do anything about it.
Well, the good part in that play was the ability of Dickey to get the ball out there in good shape, keep the ball out in front of the receiver. A little bit of a half roll, short drop, but Lofton does keep those feet in bounds, and that's a sign of a great player. He knows where he is at all times.
And the Vikings are not a big interception team, are they? They don't really have very many in the turnover department. I think they've got 10 interceptions is all. With their first good drive of the day. Toss back to Ellis, the fullback going left. Steven tackles him from behind, but Ellis picks up 4 or 5 more. The closing seconds of quarter number 1, and Green Bay suddenly has shaken the lethargy that had them sort of tied down. Looks like but the first play of the 2nd quarter has the Packers driving. Dickey's got him on the 33. Straight drop back now, no play action pass. Going across the middle, and Johnny Jefferson is knocked away from it at about the 17-yard line, and J.J. still doesn't have a catch. Matt Blair shook him loose.
Well, Matt Blair did an excellent job this time. Again, the safeties are back, the cornerbacks are up, the middle is vulnerable, but Blair gets enough drop, enough depth, and he gets in to give the safeties some help right here. Right there, he's in front of it. And nice play by Blair.
Boy, he's a big horse, too, you know, at 230 or 228.
Well,
6'4".
He's had 5 sacks this year, so he likes to blitz from that offside. Also, he's a leader on that defense. A big play.
3rd down 6. Kaufman in motion, the tight end. Straight drop back, faking the draw a little bit, going up over the top. Intercepted. Intercepted by Terry Hannon at the 7, and he's dragged back to the goal line. Straight back out of his own end zone. Dumps it off to Sensor. Sensor gets to the 13-yard line. Rich Wingo making the tackle, and this young man is fearless.
He believes in his receivers, and that helps a great deal. That time, again, Sensor, they're nickel and diming Green Bay to death, and those linebackers on Green Bay, who are doing a good job this season, they really have a tough assignment trying to stop Sensor and those 2 running backs and the short passes that Kramer's throwing.
2nd down and 2 inside. Brown, I don't believe he gets anything. Butler and a couple of other Packers throwing almost to the end zone. Looked like he's getting a little bit aggressive and downright ornery. It's a 3rd down call, 3rd and 2 out on the 12. Straight drop back. He's got Ricky Young out. Ricky Young takes the pass. May not have gotten enough for the 1st down. He was quickly tackled there.
Well, in a case like that, that's really Ricky Young's fault. He needs to get to the 1st down depth before he makes the break on the linebacker, and he made his break on Wingo too short. Wingo was right there, did a good job.
He's going to call in Coleman to do the punting. This time the kicker will be looking into the sun. He hasn't had anything blocked this year. His longest kick is 73 yards, and this young man has been a very steady, good kicker for Minnesota. Nixon and Whitaker back in Green Bay territory. The Packers had the interception stop their shot for points, and they'll get the ball back. Here's Coleman's kick. It's not a great kick. It's off to the side. It's going to roll into Green Bay territory, and the Packers are going to put it in play at about the 44-yard line. Coleman's not happy with it. I'm not so sure Bud Grant is either. But that scoreboard is Minnesota 14-0. The great person, the beleaguered coach, trying to sort of keep that leaking ship upright right now. A 5-7 team. Dickey on first down and 10 from the 44. Straight handoff to Ellis, and the flags fly immediately as Haggerty steps in, dropping. Yellow flags are flying.
In fact, the motion man turned upfield too quickly that time.
Interesting bunch of football players watching this broadcast. The Detroit Lions, who played on Turkey Day extremely well, and they, of course, have the Vikings down the road and still think they might be able to win this Central Division.
Ball start. Offensive line.
The whole offensive line, false start. First down and 15 now. Hoyle's law, huh? Whatever can go wrong, can go wrong, can go wrong. Here it is, Dickey now on first and 15. Pro setbacks. Long calling, straight drop back. He's got time. Throws outside, and Ellis somehow makes the catch for probably a yard loss as Hannon really stuck him. The young safety man came up and really made a tackle. You don't want to do that to your fullback, do you?
Well, I tell you, he just put that helmet right in his backhand and read that play all the way. And, of course, they had a blitz on. He had the back out in the flat, and he was right there. Ellis, even if he caught the ball, of course, which he did, it was a 2 or 3 yard loss. Dickey made up his mind to go to the short man too quickly.
The Jets 10-0 over Baltimore. Not a shocker, not yet. It's second down and 16 to go, and Jensen's in the backfield. He must be the blocker. Dickey going out to the right side. Lofton falling out. Did he make the catch? The acrobatic one appeared to make the catch. Turner making the stop.
Well, it's a nice play that time by Dickey, and both these teams are playing a double zone. When I say that, it's the cornerbacks come up, the safeties are back, and he pumped to the left side of the field to try to straighten up the curtain off the safety, and then he drilled it into that open area between the cornerback and the safety, and that was his best throw of the day. A big throw, a big first down for Green Bay.
Another Kenny Anderson to Collinsworth pass, and the Cincinnati Bengals are finding out their draft choices are playing like high draft choices now. That's J.J. in motion on first down and 10. Now the play action pass being rushed, and Dickey hangs it up, and J.J. makes the catch at the 29. Curtin off watching on the play, and Doug Martin got to the quarterback just as Dickey released it.
Well, Jefferson really concentrated on this ball. Of course, Dickey's hit as he throws the ball, but Jefferson knew he was going to get hit in the back, and he still pulled the ball in right there, and nice play by Jefferson. And, of course, Dickey turned out to be a heck of a throw under some very trying circumstances right here.
I would say trying circumstances. Look at this.
Wham.
A great catch by J.J., who might have the best body control of any receiver that I've ever watched. First and 10 now on the 29. J.J.'s in motion, stays in the slot, going to the right side. Lofton has it and then coughs it up around the 10-yard line. They're going to call it incomplete for a step. It looked like number 80 had it.
Well, the ruling, of course, you have to have both feet on the ground when you catch the football to have possession, and I'd like to see that again. His right foot hit, and looked like his left foot hit, and then the ball popped out.
Seaman made the poke check and got the ball out.
Yeah.
Pretty close. The Packers are lucky they called it incomplete because the Vikings came up with it. Here's Dickey back to throw. He's got time and throws for Lofton. This time he catches it at the 11-yard line.
But he's been throwing the ball with some authority now, and also getting good protection.
Lofton came in with 55 catches, and he scares you to death if you're playing defense. The first down drive by Huckleby bounces off and gets to the 5-yard line. The Wolverine that time hit the hole in a hurry. And this team, the Packers, really miss Eddie Lee Ivory, the young man from Georgia Tech that got the knee torn up this year in the opening game against Chicago. He is one of the very fine running backs. And I think Bart Starr's team really misses him.
Works in the league, and without him, it's tough on the ground.
Here's the play inside the 5. Jensen carrying, maybe got a couple. The crowd now coming to life. There's no 14-0 blowout. In the 3rd down and 2. On the 3. 3rd and goal. Ellis and Huckleby, the starters, are back in there. And the crowd is yelling defense, defense, defense. Huckleby's in motion. Dickey back to throw, rolling to his right. Now he's trying to dump it over, and it's knocked away. Number 25, there's a flag down.
Defensive pass interference in the end zone. First down, 1 yard line.
I think Bart Starr's glad. There's one thing about Bart, he accepts the responsibilities and gives it his best shot. It's 1st and goal. Packers have been shut out so far. We're in the 2nd period. Here's the straight handoff. Huckleby's got it. Straight ahead, covering up the ball. Huckleby scores for Green Bay, and I don't see any flags. Touchdown for Green Bay all year. Here's Jan Stenerud. Stokowitz is holding the young kicker, and it looks good. It's going to be fairly short. Kicking away from Eddie Payton. Number 49 has it coming back out. Keith Nord. And he is dumped at about the 16, and the fur flies for a minute.
Weakness of the Green Bay defense against the run. They've pretty well shut down the run.
Sammy White comes in motion, stays in the slot. Kramer dumps it to Ted Brown. And Mr. All-Purpose gets to the 25-yard line. Douglas is tripping him up there. Kramer with 6 400-yard afternoons or evenings. You like him? Is he about as good a reader as there is around?
Well, he really is. He's got a good handle on the game. Les Steckel was telling me, who handles the quarterbacks, that Tommy really has a feel for what's going on. It's like a camera coming into focus. The more experience you have, he sees things. He has the ability to dump it off to the backs at the right time, and he's got a wide variety of receivers, and he uses them all. It's amazing how many receivers are really involved in the action for Minnesota. And again, Green Bay's done an excellent job stopping the run, Tom.
The quick draw didn't work. Mike Douglas in there. And I believe George Cumby, the big linebackers, not big linebackers, but I say aggressive linebackers, filled it up. It looks like Green Bay's beginning to knock each other around in the defensive huddle, and their offense has gotten them on the board, and they're not about to back out of here. Go to somebody else's stadium, you got to play tough. 3rd down and 3. Ball's number 23. Kramer, straight drop back. He's got everybody out, and he's being sacked. From the outside, Mike Douglas, number 53, came and hit him a good lick.
Well, Mike Douglas, 6.5 sacks coming in this game. That's 7.5. That's that weak side linebacker coming, and he's come strong. He's in the mold as far as the weak side linebackers in the league right now. The Hugh Greens and the Lawrence Taylors playing from that 3-4 defense. They really have a shot at the quarterback, and if a guard doesn't pull out in time, in that case, Dennis Swilley, the center, was supposed to pull out. He didn't get out in time, and if you have a back trying to block him, sometimes these big linebackers run over the back. That's why they're getting a lot of sacks.
Okay, Roger, here's Coleman now to punt. His last punt was not a good one. They're coming for a block. This is not a good punt either. It hits at the 40, the Minnesota 40, and taken at the 45 and dumped is Bill Whitaker. Studwell was down under that punt, but not a long kick. And Green Bay sets up shop in Minnesota territory. They trail 14-7.
A shaky start. Of course, he's getting some of that rust off. He hasn't played since November the 8th, and he's pretty well putting the ball in the money, especially the last drive.
And great receivers. The fake draw, the fake screen left, and he's going deep. Going for, intercepted. A great diving interception by Kurt Knopf. A tremendous play as Huckleby looked like he was open till the ball was thrown.
Seemed like he waited just a little bit too long that time. Huckleby also got deep, and of course, there's the penalty right there.
Going to replay of the down. Offsetting penalties.
Well, I tell you, that flag was hidden. I didn't see any flag at all, and it was right smack on the 50-yard line there. So that's a big break for Green Bay.
No, maybe it's against Studwell's trying to get it clear with Haggerty.
It's like a double foul.
Now Haggerty's talking to Kramer and trying to keep control of this game right now. He's among the purple.
What's Kramer doing out there? Is he playing weak safety?
I don't know. He's out there.
Unsportsmanlike conduct during the play. First down. It's a replay.
Unsportsmanlike conduct during the play. Nobody was identified. As the plane overhead takes someone toward the Orient, we're wondering about who it was that was unsportsmanlike.
Look at Kramer. I tell you, he's learned that from Tarkenton. Tarkenton was a competitor. He used to be out in the middle of...
How about from you?
Well, I never got out there and with my defensive team to argue over the penalty. Kramer's just right out that defensive huddle arguing over that.
You were always arguing with Tom Landry. That's you didn't have time to argue with anybody else.
Well, they didn't tell us who the poor sport was, but there was a poor sport out there.
First and 10 on the 44. Huckleby finds a little bit of a hole and gets almost to the 40. Duck White making the stop, along with Matt Blair and Studwell. Solid-looking football team. They look funny sometimes on offense, but they move it against everybody. They took the Eagles apart here at this stadium a few weeks ago, and Dick Vermeil told me he could not believe it. He looked up, and they were down 21-9 and didn't realize they were out of the game yet. They were. Second down and 7. The drive to Huckleby. Ooh, good play by Matt Blair, who just ran over Ellis, the fullback.
I'll tell you, Blair was on a blitz that time, and as you said, he ran right over Ellis. Ellis didn't even get a chance to block him. Blair was on top of him so quickly, and of course he shut down the play to Huckleby.
Martin and Cook involved in the unsportsmanlike, which means that Martin must have hit Cook on the side of the head or something unsportsmanlike.
Oh, they're poor sports.
There's the conversion ratio for the Packers. They're not very good at it this season. They're in the 30% bracket. This is a big one. Third down and 6. 5 minutes left before halftime. The rush is on. The blitz is on by Minnesota. It's handled. And jumping, trying to make the catch is J.J. John Swain and Tommy Hannon right in there. They sandwiched the receiver in between, and the ball came out.
Well, they had the blitz on, and again, this is the kind of play that Jefferson will make. The guy that really broke it up was Hannon, though. He was going to crack Jefferson just about the time the ball got there, and of course Dickey got cracked a little bit. But Hannon really broke up that play, and Jefferson has made those before, and the Pack needed a big play at that moment. They didn't get it.
Stakowicz now will try to nail one into the corner. He's kicked 10 of them inside the 20. Charlie Ani is snapping the ball. The Vikes are back waiting to get their hands on that hog biter. To the left side now, trying to dump it. Well, it's a good-looking kick. About the 9-yard line. Looked like a Willie Mosconi carom shot. Stakowicz does his job. The Vikings get the ball, but they got a long way to go. Should be a good fight. Kramer's 10 of 12 for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ball's on the 11. Here's the inside handoff to Brown, who is hit immediately, and the Packers are really controlling the line of scrimmage right now. Mike Douglas in there, along with Wingo.
So I'll tell you, Douglas has been all over the place. That last series, he was involved in all 3 plays to stop the Vikings, and he's right back in it again.
And the Tampa Bay team really ran the socks off the Packers a week ago. They had over 200 yards rushing. Of course, from one week to the next, you get a good game plan and you get fired up. I don't think the Packers like the Vikings a lot. That's sort of some old traditional blood trickles down, as they say in economics. Don't you think that?
Well, there's that rivalry in the division. They know each other very well, and of course this is a big game for the Packers after the Tampa Bay loss. They got their pros. They want to get respect back, and of course Minnesota's fighting for their lives.
Kramer under a rush dumps it off. Brown gets out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. They had 3 receivers in, LeCount, Rashad, and Sammy White. There was nobody open, and Anderson put a lot of heat on.
Ted Brown against Atlanta, I guess, had one of the finest first halves I've ever seen by a football player. He was catching the ball, running with it, doing everything you could possibly do to pull your team into a 21-7 lead. And then, of course, they let down. They couldn't get those first downs at the start of the second half. They let Atlanta get back in the game, and they lost another tough one on Monday night.
Teddy Brown has 7 rushes and 7 yards today. That's how tough the Packers are playing. And as we said, Green Bay's turned on. 3rd down and 14. Kramer back in his own end zone. He's being rushed by Butler. Butler hits his arm and knocks it away. I'll tell you, Green Bay's beginning to not throw insults over the line of scrimmage. They're beginning to handle that line of scrimmage.
You know, Butler's a little bit like Ed Jones. Butler's having an excellent year, but they expect even better things from him. So Ed Jones, I know in Dallas in those early years, he was doing a good job, and now he's really into the all-pro caliber, and he's just grown with the team, and they expected those early years for him to dominate the game, and Butler's a little bit like that. It's something he's having a good year, but they expect a lot from him, and of course they're getting it today. I'll tell you, sensational day, Tom.
He just beat Ron Yeri, a pretty good pass blocker. Coleman from the back part of his end zone. Whitaker and Nixon wait for it. Fair catch by Nixon at the 38-yard line, and Green Bay is in pretty good shape again. Good defense by the Packers. Have controlled the second period. Almost offsides. He gets back.
It is offsides.
He's got a free one. It's a screen to Ellis, and Ellis drops the ball. Offsides against number 79. Might have jumped. Maybe that's Doug Martin.
Gary Ellis is pretty sure-handed.
Offside. Defense.
He's got 47 passes, but he dropped that one. That was a free ride down the sidelines there. If Goforth gets his block on Seaman, Ellis had a lot of running room.
The Vikings have lost their steam. They scored quickly. First possession, a long pass to Rashad. Next possession, another touchdown.
Yeah, that can happen. You know, you relax. You get those quick ones, but you don't realize that if you analyze them, they weren't as a result of long drives. They were a result of breaks and a mistake. So Green Bay is a team to reckon with, and they gave up a couple easy ones, and the Vikings really got complacent. 1st and 5. That's Ellis, the fullback, in motion. Inside handoff. Huckleby runs into the quarterback and gets to the 35 anyway and ran over Dickey to do it. Wonder if he said, "Excuse me." Well, Huckleby probably, the quarterback couldn't have been wrong, obviously. It had to be somebody else. Well, that's happened. I've seen that happen.
Have you ever had that happen?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody ever run into you?
Yeah.
Step on your feet and all that, huh? 2nd down and 2. A pickup of 3 by Huckleby on the bouncing play. Packers, inside handoff to Ellis. Wow, Duck White makes a tremendous play, and Ellis loses all the way back to the 37. Martin and White really came that time.
Talking about people running into each other. I know you've seen it, and it's happened to a lot of teams where the 2 guards pulled the wrong way and run right into each other, and the linebackers who were key on the guards, they ran right into each other. Strange things happen on the football field.
One thing we're not going to see is Lynn Dickey run with the football. He's had so many injuries, the Green Bay quarterback, that I don't believe we'll see him scamper much. And Kramer doesn't run either. He's smart. 3rd down and 7 now. This is a big play for Green Bay. 2.5 minutes left. Hoffman in motion. Dickey back to throw. He's being pressured, throws it, and it's intercepted by number 29, Johnny Swain. The rookie came up with it. Trying for Huckleby.
Well, you know, Dickey that time, when we saw that shot of him, he looked like Sheeman. What happened? Of course, he was pressured, and surprisingly, he did get rid of the football. He looked like he had plenty of steam on it. I think Swain just made a good play right here. It was a deep pass to the sideline, and there's the pressure right there. But he gets rid of the ball in pretty good shape, gets a lot on it. Jefferson is not maybe coming back for the ball enough, and he felt maybe he didn't need to. It just looks like a great play by Swain. He timed it perfectly. Of course, Dickey is getting some pressure here, but he does get rid of the football. He Drills it. He didn't really get a chance to step up in the pocket, but he did get rid of the ball, and it's a good play by Swain.
2.5 minutes left, and the Vikings have the interception. This one counted. Straight drop back by Kramer, going outside to Ahmad Rashad, who steps out at the 31.5-yard line. McCoy watching.
Here's Ahmad on the deep sideline pass, and it's one of the few times they got man-to-man and onto the outside. They've usually been bringing up the cornerbacks to safeties deep, and then Kramer dumps it off to a tight end to the back. So if he has something to the outside, he'll take it.
You know, Reichow and, of course, the whole organization, they've drafted a good team. They've got 11 number ones. I could consider Rashad a number one. He was years ago. 11 number ones and 8 number twos on this squad. That gives you a lot of quality, and they're beginning to play like it. 2nd down and 1. That's Sammy White in motion, stays in the slot. Kramer's going to dump it. Finds Ricky Young at the 37, and Douglas finds Young too.
When Kramer was drafted as number 1, I remember Tarkenton was a quarterback here, and he was
to the Packers in the 2nd period, but only 1 touchdown resulted. Kramer's got the ball on his own 37. Brown moved over on the 297 call and swings out. Kramer is trying to get it to Sensor and does. Big Joe Sensor breaks the tackle and gets to the 46-yard line. Good effort by the tight end. Jones, the nose tackle, had to make the tackle on former basketball player at Westchester State.
They got the hurry-up offense in here in that 2-minute period.
2nd down 1. Kramer in the slot into Green Bay territory with 1:27 on the clock, and it's ticking. It's hard to put a lot of pressure on Kramer when he's throwing 5s and 10s.
Well, they got those 3 wide receivers.
Dallas, doesn't it? Only missed the playoffs from this division, winning the division 2 years, 72 and 79. The rest of the time, the Vikings have owned it. 1st down and 10. Fake inside, and to the swing man, the drop outside to LeCount, who gets to the 50. Pretty good defensive play, not much yardage. McCoy making that tackle. He opened him up behind the backfield and then threw it to him.
Now, they really had to rush that time. Kramer was down to 2 seconds on the clock, and I don't think he let LeCount get as far across the backfield as he wanted because he had to snap the ball.
That defensive line for Green Bay has really begun to put some heat on. Perry Jones, Butler, and Ezra Johnson. They got a 4-man rush in there this time. Casey Merrill's in there. 2nd down 11. He's got time to throw it. He's going deep. Short. Open receiver, and Rashad can't handle it at the 10-yard line. Mike McCoy got his hands on it in pretty good shape. Ball was underthrown a little bit.
Yeah, the ball was short, and Rashad really came back and almost caught the ball. McCoy's feet went out from under him. He was in perfect position until the ball was thrown short, and that's how a lot of big plays take place.
Boy, those Colorado kids can really play defense, can't they?
Here it is right here. It is short. McCoy stops. He loses his feet, and Rashad, he almost had the ball right there. I guess it was either Murphy or Harvey that came over that probably influenced Rashad in dropping that football.
What are the numbers on Kramer now?
Well, he's 15 of 17. He's 15 of 18 right now after that miss for 2 touchdowns. Most of it's been short, except for the long one to Rashad.
6 different receivers. 3rd down 11. Going across the middle. Almost intended for Sammy White. Intercepted by Estes Hood. And Hood is still on his feet. And now into the Minnesota bench. A good interception by Estes Hood. He took one back for a touchdown against the Giants. Swilly finally had to make the tackle on him.
Well, Estes Hood is the extra back that comes in the game, and of course he does an excellent job right here. He stays with Brown all the way across the middle, and Kramer's drilling it down the middle, and again between the safeties, but Hood's on him man-to-man and just steps in front of the ball, and of course he makes a heck of a play. It was on Sammy White. He stepped in front of White. He had White all the way across the field, and Hood, that's his 3rd interception of the year, and he's having a heck of a year coming in on the special situations for the Packers.
All right, what kind of a 2-minute thing are we going to see from Lynn Dickey now? He's got, again, the great outside receivers and Kaufman, and 1:01 on the clock and a 7-point deficit. Here's the last part of Estes Hood's run back, and a good one it was.
He's got 3 timeouts, Tom, so they do have time to get in at least field goal position.
4-man rush. It's on purpose. It's a screen to Ellis in the flat. Ellis is going to get into Minnesota territory. Picking his hole as they let the defensive line in and then screened outside of it.
They'll take one of those timeouts now. They've got enough time. They need a good drive right here. They had
Giants are still alive for that wild card spot at 6-6. 50 seconds left. A first down on the 48. Pro set. Almost offsides was Martin. He was offsides. A free one for Dickey. Dumps it to Ellis. Ellis gets away at the 40 from one tackler. Cuts back inside.
Oh, no. He should have got out of bounds right there, Tom.
He thought he did get out of bounds.
Of course, the penalty will stop the clock, so that'll be a big help for
Looks like he got to about the 30-yard line.
Green Bay. Of course, they'll take the play, but the penalty did stop the clock. He made that one cut and looked like he was going out of bounds.
Defense, number 79.
Martin offsides again.
That helped him with the clock because once Ellis did come down, when he cut back inside, he did not get out of bounds, so they would have had to take a timeout. So,
boy, he made some good reception of that. Ellis with excellent maneuverability for a big running back.
There was Martin jumping off sides. Dickey's looking downfield and just lays it over the line of scrimmage in front of the linebackers, in front of Studwell, number 55, and of course McNeil tries to get over there. Here's the move right here that kept him in bounds. Of course, the
straight back. He's got time. Going for JJ, and Johnny Jefferson is almost knocked out at the 15 by Tommy Hannon. What a
Dickey's looking at him all the way, and Hannon is back in that safety area, but they're playing him pretty tight.
Ooh.
Boy, he just hits him perfect.
He did not use the helmet. He didn't try to impale him on that helmet.
That's a good, solid, clean hit right there.
But some hit it is. Straight back, keeps the back in for blocking. He's going up for Johnny Jefferson. Jefferson catches the ball in the end zone. It's a touchdown. Jumped right over the quarterback who's covered it.
Oh, look at him.
Willie Teal.
Look at him. He put that ball through his legs. That's the kind of catch, of course, he's been making. He's made them in San Diego. He's made some big plays in Green Bay. Came late in the year. He's only got 23 catches going into this game. But this is what he's famous for, the acrobatic catch. And Dickey pumps to the left, pumps to the right, throws back to the left. Good coverage that time by Willie Teal, number 37. But you saw one of the real fantastic athletes. And phenomenal catch.
If he's not worth the number 1 and number 2s, nobody is. Stenerud now. The holder Stacklitz, who has some trouble getting it down. But Stenerud still got it through. The holder. Eddie Payton at the 4-yard line. He gets some room. Eddie Payton breaks out. Now he's being swarmed under. Gets to the 44-yard line. And now 20 seconds left. Kramer back to throw. He's not going to go into a halftime without doing something. Now he runs and throws it on the run. Sammy White catches it at the 37-yard line.
Well, there's a fight in that backfield back there.
Makes sense?
It does. It's
first down call, 10 seconds left, and Clicky, it's complete. LeCount steps out of bounds, stops the clock with 7 seconds left. Boy, that Kramer can move the team.
They're in field goal range now. Of course, he just drills one out to the sideline right here. And good movement. He steps to the left. He has a lot of body into that throw, and of course keeps his feet in bounds. No, as you mentioned, there's runners like Ted Brown compared to Bill Brown back in the old days. He was a hard-nosed, gritty guy, but when you get to that turf, you need the quick backs, the Sims, the Ted Browns, the Dorsets, and it does make sense how they've drafted the last couple of years.
Last play before probably a field goal attempt. Intercepted. Ball is thrown early, trying for Sammy White, and Mark Lee, who made a good interception a week ago, came out with another one. I don't think Grant likes it. Boy, he's a good defensive back. We were told that those Packers play that secondary tough, and they've certainly proven that. It's a 14-14 tie. Green Bay has the ball on their own 3-yard line, and I would imagine they'll be extremely careful with only 2 seconds left. That's careful. No, Payton at the 12. Payton, wow, buried at the 22. And Green Bay had a little bit of impetus, didn't it?
They did. They did with that interception, and of course, Here's the biggest run of the day for the Vikings.
Brown gets outside. A great block by Ron Yeri on the outside, and Cumbie had to force him out.
Brown gets a little dip inside this time. He's got the guards pulling Wes Hamilton. He's got Yeri out in front. That little dip there gives Yeri a chance to make his block to get Brown to the outside. Of course, that's the longest run they've had. And they mentioned last week against Atlanta, they came out flat the second half. In the first 3 series, they didn't get a first down. So at least now there's in 2nd and 1, and they've come out with a little bit more enthusiasm. And it's a key, the way you start that 3rd quarter, how you play the second half.
9 yards. That tops the total rushing for the first half by the Vikes. Out of the eye, the toss back. Same play to the right side again. First down out to the 35-yard line. Anderson making the tackle. See who did the best job at halftime. Bart Starr and his fine staff are the Vikings, and that solid bunch of veteran coaches to try to turn things around. There's a first down. 14-14. Kramer with good numbers, but 2 interceptions. Straight drop back. A lot of time dumps it out in the flat and over Brown, and almost a lateral. A very dangerous ball to let float around. Ezra Johnson got back out there from the defensive end spot too. And Sammy White has been very quiet, and I think he's one of those underrated receivers. He makes big catches down the middle. He's a fine one. On 2nd down 10. Straight drop back. Everybody out. Kramer going to the outside. Sensor has it. Eyeballing the linebacker Anderson and gets out over the 46-yard line. It looks like a first down. Horse too. Pretty good basketball player in college, and big old raw bone thing that somehow the Vikings, Jerry Reichow and company, dug him up. So let's take a look at him. Not bad. 1st and 10 now. Out on the 46. Kramer straight back. He's going a little bit deeper down the middle. Underthrown, intercepted. Intercepted by Maurice Harvey. And Harvey still on his feet. And inside the 40. And Ryan being pressed. The Packers have really taken it to him. 3 interceptions. Here it is, the fake draw. And out in the left, Huckleby can't handle it. Is that a lateral or a pass? They're calling it a forward pass. Incomplete. Holloway coming close to that ball. The signal goes in from the sidelines to Lynn Dickey, who has had more injuries in his career than Roger than you had, really. He's recovered, and he's in the driver's seat. The delay handoff to Ellis. Ellis picking his way. Gets almost to the 30-yard line. Scott Studwell making the stop. A little bit of a delay, a quick draw of some kind almost.
It was, and there was a good move by Ellis downfield. He makes a little inside-outside move once he gets past the line of scrimmage. Good blocking there at the point of attack by Darryl Goforth, and he makes a move right, left, and gets that extra 2 or 3 yards, and he doesn't get hit very hard on account of it. And a lot of backs try to run over people, but Ellis, when you make that little stutter step move, it keeps you in the league a little bit longer.
And he and Wilder, the Tampa Bay rookie fullback down there, they both came from Missouri. They must have had what you call a surplus of fine fullbacks running around down there in Columbia. Dickey hands off to Ellis, cuts back. He's got the first. He pulls Studwell enough forward to move those sticks. Haggerty tells you emphatically. Packers have that feeling. It's a 1st and 10 on the Minnesota 26. Fake straight handoff, going for the slot. That's Lofton inside the 10. He makes almost the 10-yard line. Willie Teal hanging on. A pretty tough catch.
Well, again, the play action fake is to give him a chance to throw past the linebackers, and he throws past the linebackers in front of Kurt Knopf right here, who gets over there a little bit late. And also Teal, of course, had him man-to-man, and Knopf got over there late, but it was an excellent throw. Good play action fake by Dickey, and he really drilled the ball in here. Good play. Lofton concentrated, knew he might get hit, but actually Knopf missed him.
Packers are moving. 1st and 10 now on the 10-yard line. The toss back to Huckleby. Huckleby inside the 10-yard line, stumbling. Boy, the Vikings look flat. I have to agree with you. It's interesting right now. It's 2nd down and 9. Dickey back to pass, keeps his back in, going to the flat. He's open. That's Huckleby. Huckleby may have scored a touchdown.
He's got it.
He's got the touchdown. John,
Here's
the Vikes
Dickey.
can't stop him.
He's looking, he pumps a little bit. He tries to get the linebacker off of Huckleby, but actually number 27, John Turner, was out there in that short zone, and that little pump got him inside, and Huckleby caught the ball, got around the corner, and scored.
3rd touchdown reception for Huckleby. Stenerud. Straight through. This one at the 9-yard line. Eddie Payton straight up the middle, gets a hole, weaves, gets to the 30-yard line before he's dumped. Fake drive on the eye, going outside to Sammy White. White has it to the 46-yard line. Mark Lee shoves him out. I like Sammy White. He's a smooth runner of patterns, and he runs a good pattern.
Yeah, that's a good play. They have 2 wide receivers to the one side, and that running fake again holds the linebackers and got Sammy White man-to-man on Lee to the outside, and it's a solid play, and Kramer really looks sure of himself on that play.
A pickup of 10 yards at least. They move the chains out to the 47. A beautiful day and a quiet crowd. And the Vikes started out like a house of fire, and somewhere the offense went south. Straight drop back by Kramer, going to the outside. Rashad with about a 9-yarder and steps out of bounds. McCoy forcing him out.
Here's Rashad. Again, McCoy is expecting his deep pass, and he's got too much room to the outside, gets 9 yards.
With those short passes, they'll bring the corners up, and then you might be able to go deep a little bit later. Rashad, who has legs so long, he might be 6'8", you know, and he's got that long, graceful stride. He's tough. 2nd down 1. Inside handoff to Brown, who's had a rough day rushing, and probably gets the first, but he had to earn it. Boy, the Packers have really played the run extremely well today. Wingo made the tackle there. Tampa Bay ran pillar to post against them a week ago, but whatever they've done, they've tightened it up.
Well, they have, and of course those 3 interceptions have been big turnovers for the Vikings, have stopped some potential drives. Kramer's got good numbers as far as completions, but 3 interceptions take away all the good.
Kramer rolling, throwing back, Sensor's open. Inside the 20 to almost the 15-yard line. Maurice Harvey hanging on.
Boy, he had this whole side flooded over. He had White over here, he had Rashad, he had Brown all to his right, and he's rolling to the right also. And there's Sensor lonesome coming over the middle, and it was set up all the way. He looked back to Sensor, and Sensor got between number 59, John Anderson, and in front of that secondary, Maurice Harvey, and excellent play. Now the Vikings seem they just seem more intense. This whole drive has been one where Kramer has been sure of himself, and he's thrown the ball with a lot more of authority than he did in the 3rd quarter.
Back to throw with the authority. He drills Ricky Young in the flat. He gets tackled, gets forward to the 12-yard line. Sensor now has 6 catches for 78 yards and is fast becoming a folk hero up here in Minneapolis.
I'll tell you, early in this 3rd quarter, Kramer just was a little bit unsure of himself, the way he threw the ball and he threw that interception. Now you can just feel a tempo pick it up. The first sideline he threw to White, got his confidence back, and he's really got him on a drive that's a critical drive, and that's the mark of a good quarterback, the ability to come back.
You would know what the mark of a good quarterback is because you were a great one. It's 1st and 5. On the 12, straight drop back, keeps the backs in and barely gets it off, and it's almost intercepted by Mark Lee. There's a flag down. They may have roughing the passer.
Yeah.
Wingo came in pretty late, number 50.
Roughing the passer, number 23.
Well, they had the safety blitz. Wingo was in there also, and both of them hit Kramer, Tom, but they gave it to Maurice Harvey.
Maurice Harvey, safety man. A 1st down, automatically.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, 1st down.
Now it looks like his helmet, when he butted him with his helmet, that's where they gave the roughing call.
Got to get that helmet out of there.
Watch him just dive right there with that. Almost intercepted.
1st and 6 now. 1st and goal. Vikings drive it. Inside handoff. Brown scores the touchdown. Inside trap play. Quick hitter. And Ted Brown gets on the board. And boy, it's been a long time since the people here have been able to stand up and get warm.
I watched a strange game. Here's the inside trap right here. Number 51 blocks, and then Yeri comes across, picks it off the middle linebacker, and Brown's into the end zone. 28 yards rushing now, and almost all of it's been in the second half.
On 11 carries, he's had a tough time, but he made it. Danmeier now with Nord holding. Only 2 basic kickers left. Here's one of them. He misses it to the right. The Packers are saying he missed it to the right side. He's missed 2 extra points this year. Make it 3. And that one is large indeed. The buck stops there. Here's Danmeier's kick from the 35. McCoy at the 7-yard line. A good cutback. He's got some running room. McCoy finally pulled down out over the 35-yard line. A good run back. Green Bay with a 1-point lead with a missed extra point. Henry Johnson making that tackle. Don't forget the second half of the doubleheader. The Giants at 6-6. They coming off that big win over Philadelphia take on the 49ers. And of course the 49ers, if they win, they've got a lock on the Western Conference. Tampa Bay, of course, is having their problems. Detroit is not having a problem today. They're just pulling like mad for the Green Bay Packers. Then they would be in a tie in this division. Ball's on the 36. That's JJ in motion. Toss back to Ellis. Oh, Nellis hit by Holloway. A loss. Looks like the Vikings have been stimulated.
This play was stopped almost immediately. Holloway penetrated. McNeil was over there, and slow developing play. You got the right guard pulling the left tackle, try to get out in front, and of course Holloway with a block on Kaufman just doesn't get his man Holloway, and Holloway stops the play, and Jeff Seaman comes in to clean up, and about 18 other Vikings happen to be over there.
Both teams now getting fired up. A lot is riding on this football game. 2nd down and 12, a loss of 2. Dickey being rushed, a all-out blitz on. Let's see if there are any flags around there. Dickey was slow getting up. Knopf fired in from the safety spot. Everybody but Bud Grant came that time.
Yeah, well, Dickey's protection's been pretty darn good. Here's the safety blitz this time. Knopf is coming in 25. No one touches Knopf. Everybody else is picking up linebackers and guards, and you got to have a quick down and in or an automatic. Someone's got to read that out as a wide receiver to change a pattern. They had all 3 receivers going deep, and of course Dickey had no chance. But without the pressure by the on the blitz, the offensive line of the Packers has done a pretty decent job today.
That's a pretty good defensive call. It was at the right time on a deeper drop. It's 3rd down and 12. 7:40 left in the 3rd period. Dickey trying to get, here comes the blitz again. The safety blitz is on. He reads it. Lofton has it at the 45. He's got a blocker, Kaufman. Lofton is still on his feet, and he's dragged down inside the 25-yard line.
See, that time they read it perfectly, and that's what the wide receivers have to read as well as the quarterback, because sometimes you can't audible, they could come out of it, but this time Dickey was ready right away. He was hoping for it, as a matter of fact, and of course Lofton read it. He's got to read the safeties. That's the only type of blitz the wide receivers can read. If the safeties come, they can't really tell if the linebackers. It's tough to read that. This time he did it, threw the down and in. Perfect play against that blitz.
Who made the tackle? Jeff Seaman, the linebacker, finally had to make the tackle.
Seam looking. He saw the safety going. He saw Knopf going, and of course he made a nice play right here. And they had worked one time for the Vikings, and they were burned on it.
Lofton has 6 catches for 102 yards. Here's Ellis straight up the middle for yardage. Tommy Hannon making the tackle. Ellis getting up slowly. It's a 1st down.
Here's Ellis up the middle. Good, nice block inside by Teardale Middleton, also number 31.
1st down as Ellis takes a breather. Jensen.
It was Gary Ellis, number 31. I thought Teardale had come in the game. Of course, Ellis made a nice run, and Huckleby really got the block.
Jim Jensen, your old teammates in there with Huckleby. The The Packers are driving. They lead by 1. Here's the drive play inside. Huckleby gets away from Seaman to the 6-yard line. Tommy Hannon again making the tackle. Huckleby is really running quickly today, huh?
He's a slippery little guy. I tell you, he's made the grab on the end zone, near the end zone, scored a touchdown, and he's had some decent yards rushing today. He's had only a 3.2 rushing average. He's caught 22 passes this year. He's been a good addition to the Packers. He's a performer. He's not a great Sims, Brown, Dorsett type runner, but between he and Ellis, they've put together a pretty decent running game.
5:34 in the third period left. Inside handoff to Huckleby. Dances away. There's a flag down. Huckleby's going to score. There's a flag down near the line of scrimmage. Hold on. Matt Blair thinks it's against Green Bay. Illegal procedure. Huckleby danced outside. It was wide open.
Illegal motion, right guard, offense.
Leotis Harris, the giant from Arkansas, must have twitched. Second down and 9. Deep in Minnesota territory. Listen to the crowd.
You know, Kaufman hasn't really been in the passing game today. It's about time for the tight end to do something near that goal line.
Throw setbacks. Dickey straight back. Keeps Ellis in the block. Now he checks him out. He won't run with it. He's going to have to, and now he's dumped on at the 13-yard line. Studwell and others. He didn't want to run with that ball, obviously.
Yeah, Dickey's been banged up. He's not the running type. He's a good pocket passer. 14 for 26, 208 yards. 2 key touchdowns. Of course, 1 interception early in the game. It was a poor one down around the goal line. Other than that, he's performing pretty well.
We're thinking pass now. Will he roll a little bit to the right or the left, maybe, just to get a little time to look at a couple of receivers?
I would think in this area right now, the tight end is a key receiver. Of course, Jefferson making one of his spectacular catches.
All right, J.J. and Lofton are to the left, to the bottom of your screen. Dickey back to throw. He has time. Dumps it over, and Kaufman, the person that Staubach called for, makes the catch. For a first down, it'll be goal to go. McNeil made the tackle.
Kaufman came from right to left, right across the field, and Dickey was looking. He had 2 wide receivers on one side, and here's Kaufman. He just beats McNeil. He gave a little move to the right, cut back to the left, and beat McNeil by a step or 2, and of course that's a big first down.
Boy, what a good job blocking they did. The Packers up front, McCarron and Harris and everybody else. Cook.
Well, that's the area that needs to be shored up a little bit. They've had some injuries in that offensive line. It hasn't performed the way the Packers have liked, but today they've done a pretty credible job.
Ellis and Huckleby, short yardage, first and goal from the 2. The pass, Dickey dumps it over. It's missed by Kaufman in the end zone.
Oh, boy, McNeil really was on top of Dickey very quickly that time, and he had to get rid of the ball just a little bit too soon, and Kaufman would have had a chance if Dickey had another split second. But watch McNeil come across. He almost tackles him right here before he throws the ball. Of course, Kaufman just had the ball out in front of him.
Offensive line blocked like it was a running play to try to get the arms down and cut him down the line of scrimmage. It's now second and goal on the 2. 21-20 Packers lead, 3:48 in the third period.
They'll probably come back with a run this time.
Here's the run. Huckleby around the right side. He doesn't get there. He's going to be a yard short. Dennis Johnson jumping up and down, also making the tackle. Green Bay is 3 for 3 on third down conversions in the third quarter. But this is not a conversion. This might be the ball game. Third and goal on the 1.
There's Bart. A little nerve-wracking when your team's on the 1-yard line on third down.
Remember his quarterback sneak against you guys in the Ice Bowl? Not with Dickey. Handoff. Huckleby gets close. He got it. They said he got over it. And Bart Starr breathes again. J.J. clapping in the background. What a turnaround. Look at this. Don't tell me they aren't together as a ball club.
Well, they've had some real big plays. None was bigger than that max blitz on third down when Dickey and Lofton read it. Set up this touchdown. Really got him down into that scoring range. And, of course, the catch by Kaufman was another big play.
Stenner dead straight. For Stenner's kickoff. It's a very short kick. Taken at the 14-yard line. Nord. Good run back. And Minnesota does have good field position. They are facing the sun here in the third period. 64 yards on 10 plays.
10 plays, and 2 of them were as big as Green Bay will have all year. The pass to Kaufman, and of course the pass to Lofton.
Of course, if Green Bay would win this, they would go to 6-7, and conceivably are still not out of a crazy wild card situation.
That's right, and this race, of course, for the division lead is crazy also. Detroit's a hot football team right now. Lost a lot of close games this year, but they keep bouncing back. Hippel's having a fantastic year, so they're in it for the division besides the wild card.
The fake handoff. Kramer beat Chase, throws back to Sensor. Good tackle on the 30 by Mike Douglas. Did he read the play and make a super tackle?
Now, Douglas watched Sensor all the way. He was basically either guessing or had help on Sensor man-to-man because he was right with him. Kramer rolls to the right, and Douglas didn't move a step. He just stood over there with Joe Sensor.
The Green Bay linebackers have been agile and mean and tough all year, except perhaps against Tampa Bay last week. And they don't know why they played so poorly against the Bucs, but they've got it going today. Second down and 15. Sensor's in motion, back into the slot. Kramer going outside for the tight end. He makes a juggling catch to the 39-yard line. Anderson making the tackle. Good catch. I saw somewhere where Sensor was the leading collegiate basketball percentage shooter in field goals one year. He must have been a pretty good round ball player, huh?
And they say a lot of his ability, of course, his moves and the things he does with the football and his great hands are directly attributable to basketball. And he's a diamond in the rough for the Vikings. They picked him up, and he's just gotten better and better each year.
Kramer back to throw on third down and a half. Almost intercepted, and then almost caught by Sammy White. Mark Lee got his hands on it.
Yeah, Mark really played that one well. It's similar to the play that they ran before, except there wasn't a play action fake, but White was on the inside, was Rashad outside, ran a sideline route, but Mark Lee stepped in front of the ball and made a nice play.
Coleman will kick it on 4th and 6, or a long 5. The punters have not been consistent. Freddie Nixon is waiting at about the 20-yard line. Here's the snap. Here's the kick. Almost blocked. There's no flag down. Taken at the 45. Now a flag is down. And Whitaker is stopped at about the 37-yard line. But there is a flag down.
Well, here's the play right here. The guy was blocked into the punter. And, of course, McNeil went in there also, so there's no interference on the punter.
That was Murphy, Mark Murphy. You're blocked into the kicker.
Personal foul, post-possession 22.
22, personal foul.
Mark Lee.
Mark Lee. And today he has not been bad. The handoff to Ellis. Dancing gets over the 20-yard line to the 21. Seaman making the stop. The Jets rolling along in that eastern part of the AFC, 25-0. Cincinnati now having some answer from Cleveland, but leading rather comfortably by 2 touchdowns late. Pittsburgh just laid it on the Rams. And here the Packers lead by 8. Just got the play off in time. Ellis weaving, gets away, and breaks out over the 30 to the 33-yard line. Had 2 touchdowns receiving the football as a rookie. Very mature and very quick to adjust, as you saw there. 42 seconds left in the 3rd period. The Packers have stunned everybody, and the crowd, they're just pulling the knit caps down over their ears right now. 1st and 10 call. Here's the play action pass. Dickey going deep for Lofton. Lofton almost catches the ball at the 20-yard line. Scares you when you can be playing good defensive secondary and the guys can jump over you and catch the ball like that.
That reminds you of Swan and Stallworth of Pittsburgh. Those guys, Bradshaw used to fire that thing up there with a wing and a prayer, and those guys, they'd come down with it. And of course, Hill and Pearson have been pretty good to me through the years.
Not bad. I started to say that. 2nd down 10. Closing seconds of quarter number 3. Kaufman's in motion. Dickey screening out to Ellis, who has some blockers. Ellis cutting back against the flow. He's going to get to the sidelines if he does. No, he's pulled down. Hannon made a tackle by the jersey, or Ellis might have gotten to the far sidelines. I'm down. Dickey hands off to Huckleby. A pretty good block out front. A great tackle. Coming up hard with a sure tackle was Blair and Kurtnoff. Good, solid defense.
Well, he went down very quickly here. The Huckleby's going around the corner right here, and there are the 2 of them just popping. Blair and number 25, Kurtnoff.
Stakowitz back to punt now. Remember, Detroit won on Thanksgiving. If the Vikings lose, there's a tie for the division. The rush is on. Almost get it. Stakowitz is knocked down. There's a roughing the punter call. It's going to be an automatic 1st down. Payton has the return.
So he's, of course, he's hit. No question about that. But Johnson does everything he can to miss him, but I guess he did rub a...
Personal foul running into the kicker, number 52, 1st down.
If you don't get the ball, you get the horn. All right, it's a 1st and 10. The Packers keep the ball. 14 minutes left. They lead by 8, and Dickey's been solid in there. Kaufman in motion. Back to throw. Keeps the tight end in the block and screens it to Ellis. Ellis nowhere to go now. He's running away from the flow again. This is when he's dangerous. Ellis gets a 1st down, picks up 10 yards. Hannon hanging on.
Good, again, play action right here. He fakes, and Ellis is the guy they're going to screen to. Throws it out to the right. He doesn't have much room over there. The Viking reads it pretty nicely over to the right, and he breaks back all the way across the field. And Hannon makes another saving tackle right here because he's got some blockers. And in fact, Dickey's one of the blockers out in front. If he could have cut inside there, he had a lot of running room. Hannon collars him, brings him down, but it's still a 1st down.
What's that quarterback doing after trying to block? You've got to talk to him. A 1st down.
Must have an incentive clause in his contract.
On the Minnesota 42. Here's Huckleby being trapped for a loss. That's big Doug Martin that made the first contact on that, the defensive end. Then the linebackers, McNeil and Blair, cleaned up.
Now, Doug Martin really stops this play. There's penetration all the way across the way by Martin, and Darryl Groforth, number 57, doesn't have a chance. He tries to block him, but Martin penetrated and stopped the play.
Looks to me like Huckleby might be pulling up a little bit on the last couple of runs. He slowed up expecting something to happen. That's dangerous. It's 2nd down and 15. The fake draw. Dickey going up and over to Lofton, and it's caught by Lofton. James Lofton has it down the sidelines, and he's going to score for Green Bay. And throws the ball into the upper deck.
Well, that official was running down the sideline. I thought he might mark the ball there, but Lofton stayed in bounds, made a great catch right there. And we've seen some fantastic catches at the top of the show. We knew we were going to see him, as we mentioned. Here's Dickey. It's a late throw to Lofton. Again, number 25, Kurtnoff is there, but Lofton keeps the ball, stays in bounds, down the sideline. It's a 47-yarder. It's a touchdown. Another big play for Green Bay.
Pull away from Willie Teal. but so dangerous. We've seen J.J. take one away in the end zone, and now Lofton turned what looked like an INT into a touchdown. It's 34-20, and Green Bay's going for 35. Spinner straight. The crowd is in shock.
Here's Dickey. He's looking to the right, and he comes late. He pumps, and of course Lofton makes a great catch down the sidelines. It's all over.
Here's Stenerud. Green Bay scoring their highest total of the season, 35 points. A very short kick high, almost into the wedge. Payton takes it at the 17-yard line and gets to the 30-yard line. Green Bay comes in having beaten the New York Giants twice, Seattle once, and the Chicago Bears twice. A tie, St. Louis and New England in the fourth period, 20-all.
I guess Minnesota gets spoiled with that lead. Happened against Atlanta, and today they 14-0. You start wondering if it was going to be a blowout with Minnesota and Zappo. Here's New Orleans, a big score also for that wild card chase, beating Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is still in the running.
Detroit's sitting back there, very fat and happy right now. Kramer unloads it to Ted Brown in the flat. Gets to the 35 or 36-yard line. McCoy rides him out. 15 points. Catch-up time. Vikes have had some problems. They've won a lot of games late with Kramer at the controls, but sometimes they might take that for granted.
Yeah, you just wonder, well, we can always pull it out, but that just doesn't happen that way, especially when you have a lead like they've had. They also have mentioned they haven't been able to put teams away all year, so that works against you, and today it's really worked against them.
A trips right formation. Kramer obviously back to throw. Going across, hits Brown again, and he is tackled at the 42-yard line. Mike Douglas really making sure, but it's a first down. One thing you want to be as a quarterback, though, is not in a state of panic with almost 12 minutes left. You do have to be careful and not try to go for it all at once, I suppose, huh?
Now that extra point's that's a big point. They're within, of course, 2 touchdowns and now a field goal to do it instead of just 2 touchdowns to tie it. And that extra point is a mistake, and also the roughing the punter. 2 critical mistakes by the Vikings, and uncharacteristic.
A 4-man rush. They almost get to it. Rashad catches it, but he may be out of bounds. Right into the Green Bay bench. Mark Lee in hot pursuit. Incomplete. Pretty good pressure put on by the Packer front 4.
There's the ball. It's thrown out in front nicely, but the field isn't wide enough.
He gets one down, but you've got to get both. One of the great players in the league, Ahmad Rashad. Second down and 10.
Look at those numbers right there. Those interceptions have been costly.
4-man rush again, and some heat put on. It's spattered away. Somebody on the line of scrimmage got it. I believe Mike Butler spiked it. Does that really depress you as a quarterback to have the ball batted back into your face? Is that one of the worst?
Well, it is. It's frustrating, especially to have a receiver wide open. Tommy's had his moments today, and he's been frustrated time and time again. He's had the interception before the half, and right there he looked like they had Ted Brown open.
It was either Casey Merrill, 78, or Butler, but they both got penetration. In your face, as they say. It's 3rd down and 10. Kramer, he's got Brown out to the right side, but he's going over and overthrows Rashad at the 35-yard line. The Packers have held again. Estes Hood there.
Boy, he had Rashad open, too. Kramer's sure upset with himself on that one.
Were you ever booed at all at Texas Stadium when things, went bad temporarily?
Sure was.
Were you really?
If any quarterback's ever played the game, he hasn't been booed at one time or the other.
A couple of people started to boo Kramer then, and that is hard to believe. Because I guess Wyatt Earp wasn't popular all the time. Coleman will be kicking from about the 33, and he's going for the right side, away from everybody. Nixon can't get to it. It's going to go into the end zone. Green Bay will have the ball at the 20-yard line. It has not been a good 3 quarters for the Minnesota Vikings. They trail 35-20 in 78. And I'll bet you Dickey's going to go for more. Handoff to Ellis. Doesn't get much. Doug Martin making the tackle.
I agree with that. They are flat right now. It's unusual. Maybe Atlanta caused some problems, and then all of a sudden they're ahead 14-0 this game, and they get behind, and they just haven't been able to recover, and it just doesn't look like they're going to recover.
The handoff to Huckleby behind Ellis's block. Oh, fumble. And Jeff Seaman, I believe, has the football, number 50.
Fire that ball right in the end zone this time. Go for it. Comes a blitz.
Kramer is getting rushed. Oh, it's intercepted. Intercepted by Johnny Anderson, the linebacker. Kramer got some heat and gave it away. 1st and 10 call. Let's go to New York City, where Brent Musburger has an update.
Rookie, if the Packers hold on now against Minnesota, we got a log jam at the top of the NFC Central because of this rollout by Doug Williams of Tampa Bay. In for the touchdown. They're up now 17-14. They could be tied with the Vikes and the Lions at the top.
That'd be something, a three-way tie at the top this late in the year with the wild card spot still wide open too, plus the championship. 2nd down and 8. Dickey back. The outside blitz by the safety man. Overthrows JJ at the 40-yard line. Willie Teal in pretty good position that time, and Dickey had to get up. Somebody knocked him down.
Well, Teal's in excellent position this time. Here's Jefferson running a deep sideline. He starts to come back a little bit, but Teal's there all the way. He makes a move in, breaks to the sideline, and, of course, Teal's in good position right here.
Every play now becomes very important. 9:25 left. 2 touchdowns won't do it. 2 touchdowns and a 15-point margin. The Packers have shocked everybody except themselves. Dickey, the quick draw play to Ellis. Ellis can't get away from Duck White, but he does and stays on his feet to the 30-yard line. Hannon finally making the tackle. Ellis just would not quit on that run. Stakowicz comes on. It's short of the 1st down.
Well, I like that second play. They went for it. They went to throw the ball. I would like to see them go for it again, not get too conservative. But again, the Ellis has been running well, and Minnesota's looking for the pass, and he almost got it, but he was a couple yards short.
Stakowicz, they came for him last time and got roughing the kicker. Eddie Payton's waiting for the punt on the Viking 25. Here's the snap. Steps over. Pretty good punt. Payton at the 26-yard line makes a good move and now is trapped. Good coverage by Green Bay. Kramer comes back out, and the offense loaded with new plays. 8:32 left. 30 for CBS and NFL football. 1st and 10 for Tommy Kramer. The ball is on the 33. Being rushed. Gets it to Tony Galbraith, who's in the game for the 1st time. The big fella out of Missouri, obtained from New Orleans for a number 3 choice, and it's hurry-up offense. Already it's a hurry-up time.
Well, they've got to hurry up. They need more than 2 touchdowns.
9-yard pickup on the first one. Kramer firing to Censor, who has it in Green Bay territory. Let's see where they spot it. They're going to spot it at the 49. Mark Lee straightening the tight end up.
You know, the Super Bowl this year is in the Silverdome in Detroit, but there's going to be some pretty big games before that Super Bowl in Detroit. Detroit has a chance to, of course, they go to Green Bay next week, and then they play in the Silverdome, Minnesota and Tampa Bay, the last 2 games of the year.
In their own ballpark.
Their own ballpark. So it's all in their hands if Green Bay beats Minnesota.
And it all ends up on CBS, the Super Bowl. 1st and 10 on the 49. Kramer quickly back now. Outside. Oh, he's hit at the 35 or 36-yard line. Sammy White makes the catch. He's drilled by number 37. Immediately, that's Mark Murphy. Good throw by Kramer.
Good solid throw by Kramer.
A hurry-up offense now, 7:19 on the clock.
Well, they've been moving the ball all day. It's just that mistake that's killed them. A mistake here, a mistake there, an interception. Offsides by Green Bay, it looked like.
Four-man rush by the Green Bay line. Sensor makes his 11th catch of the afternoon. Mike Douglas tackling him. What a day for a tight end. I'm notified this is the most Packer points against the Vikings since 1965. Kramer setting up, being rushed. He's not going to run. He's going to the right flank. And Galbraith has it. He's got a lot of room to run. Galbraith gets to the 13-yard line. Murphy's knocking him out there. What a throw by Kramer.
That was. He saw Galbraith. He knew where he was out of the corner of his eye. He didn't want to go to him originally. Then all of a sudden he just whipped it out there. Galbraith makes a nice move once he catches the ball to the outside and gets away from number 53 that time, Mike Douglas.
A big run. The guy's a 223 or 4 pounder. He's got good speed and looks like he's really got his attitude straightened away. The Vikings now driving, 6:39 left in the fourth period. They got to get points. Kramer moving, hits. That's Galbraith again, inside the 10-yard line. Douglas again making that tackle.
These guys got to be in shape for this offense, don't they?
Kramer seems to like it. That's why he can get off 50 passes in the afternoon.
Start the 2-minute period with 10 minutes to go.
Second down 5. Kramer back quickly. Oh, it's spiked and knocked away by, I believe that was Richard Turner.
I think you read this one just right. There's Big Richard right there, number 75.
Lordy.
Almost caught the ball.
Front court in the NBA time. He's the big young man out of Oklahoma. They're playing a 4-man rush because Kramer's left little doubt what he's going to do with it. 6:14 left. Number 9. White's in motion and stays in the flat. Kramer going outside quickly. Tony Galbraith. They call it a catch. It's at the 5. It's short of that first down.
Boy, he sidearmed that one. Got it out there, but it still was short. Now they're going to send in the field goal unit.
Got to get the first lane that knocks off that 15 points so you can start to play even with your abacus, huh?
Well, that's right. That extra point is the one that's could haunt him before it's all over with.
Danmeier is in the game. He's missed 3 field goals all year. That's all. 18 of 21. Nord puts it down. 35-23. A hurry-up offense left them with 5.5 minutes left. And now 2 touchdowns will win it. They've got the infield drawn in. He's going to go ahead and kick it deep. Nixon is really hightailing it. Takes it at the 10-yard line. Number 84. Good coverage out to the 24-yard line. McNeil making that tackle. Good coverage under the kickoff. Some other scores. The Jets stay on top and wait for Miami, Philadelphia tomorrow night. 25-0. Cincinnati rolling along 41-21. Pittsburgh shutting out the Rams. St. Louis 27-20 over New England. Young Lomax playing extremely well for the Cardinals. Washington still trailing Buffalo, but that's in the third period. Tampa Bay now on top of New Orleans, also in the third period. And right here we have a 35-23 game. Dickey's got to move the football. He's got to use the clock up. That's Huckleby inside. Turdell Middleton, has come into the game. Huckleby's last carry was the fumble.
That's probably why it was his last carry.
You sound like a coach once in a while.
Well, I think they've got to throw the ball here. 2nd 8.
Clock is running.
They got to get aggressive. They got to at least get a couple of first downs out of this drive.
They're going to have trouble getting this play off. He's only got 10 seconds to get it off. Inside trap play from the outside by the Wind. is Gary Ellis coming out to the 35, and I believe he has the first down.
That's a big run right there. Gary Lewis was in the game as a short wing. They had two wide receivers, Gary Lewis and Kaufman, and Lewis took one in motion and cracked down in the middle. Got a good block here on the man over center, and of course that helped.
You think young Hipple and those people up in Detroit right now are getting close to the television set?
I would think they would want to be, and they
Monty Clark, you think he's a little bit?
They're not out hunting or doing something else. They got to be watching this one.
First down call, a big first down. Ooh, in the backfield. Tredell Middleton rolls away.
There's a holding
flag
penalty
on the play. That's Ellis. Pardon me, number 31 carrying. The flag is thrown back in where the backfield started from.
Larry McCarron has got a guilty look on his face.
Offensive holding, huh?
Well, you see those linemen, you got to pick out the guy that kind of bobs his head a little bit. And that was Larry, but I'm guessing. I don't want to give it to Larry if he didn't deserve it.
One time that we make the lineman very famous.
Holding, number 69, offense, first down.
Would you like to give credit?
That was not Larry. That was Leotis Harris.
How you can pick out holding? Well, you have to be a great official to be able to spot it.
Well, they go to holding school in the offseason.
There is probably a school for that.
Yep.
First and 20.
Yep.
3:55 on the clock. A 12-point lead. Here's the draw play. Tardell Middleton gets outside to the 35. Got 10 of it back. McNeil making the tackle.
Well, he did get outside that time, and they're in the three-man front right now. Minnesota, and they're blitzing their linebackers, but here's the move to get outside of Seaman, and of course the end that time was Doug Martin came down, but he got outside of Seaman. That's a big run. He got 10 yards back.
Minnesota burned one of their timeouts. 3:37 on the clock. 35-23. There's Bratkowski, old Zeke, Bart Starr's neighbor and assistant coach. Don't forget, coming up next, the Giants 6-6 against the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers win, it's all over. If the Giants win, they're still very much in the chase for that wild card. There's Dickey talking to a couple of pretty good quarterbacks there, Starr and Bratkowski.
That's for sure. I think Bart this year is, there's an air about this team. It hasn't had all the success that it wanted to have this year. They've lost a couple of close games, but there's something there. There's a foundation there. There's a growth pattern, and all of a sudden to have to start from scratch again, I think would be a big mistake in Green Bay. They've had disappointments. They've had them for quite a few years, but there is around the league too. When you watch this team, there's an air of solidness. There's a foundation. There's some people that can make things happen, and you add a few more people to that, and you stay away from injuries, they could be in the thick of it next year.
Their big rookie is in there right now, number 81, Gary Lewis, out of Texas Arlington, is 6'5". He's usually a blocking type person, isn't he?
They like Gary Lewis. He was a number 2 draft choice, and they think he's got a bright future.
Green Bay's rushed for 116 yards on 36 carries. It's a pretty good offensive afternoon on the ground. Second down and 10 on the 35. Here's the power play to the right. Ellis is hitting the backfield and dropped. Number 89, Kenny Sanders. Defensive lineman made some kind of a shot across that scrimmage line.
Jeez, I tell you. He went down faster than the stock market right there, man.
Bam. On his hands and knees.
Wow.
Faster than the stock market. You have a crazy way of saying things.
I wish it was faster than interest rates.
Third down and 15. A little over 3 minutes left. Remember, the Vikings only have 2 timeouts now. They used one. They burned it. Big play here. Inside trap play. Ellis gets 3 or 4 piled up there. Hannon, McNeil.
I didn't like that play.
Brings out the young kicker. There's your time left. 35-23. And remember, the Vikings came out and scored 2 in a
5, Bloomington, Minnesota. Bud Grant senses victory with a 4-point lead over Dallas. The Cowboys are down to their last play from scrimmage. But that man is Roger Staubach. And that pass known today as the Hail Mary is complete to Drew Pearson. Dallas wins 17-14.
I know how tough that is. It's tough in the ring, too.
You were in those fights, or you were doing this?
Second down and 6. 1:59 on the clock. Kramer needing points badly. He's got a wide-open receiver, Ahmad Rashad, and he gets out of bounds at the 21. 1:52 on the clock. Mike McCoy forced him out. Rashad was wide open.
Well, he was right in between that seam of the cornerback McCoy coming up and the safety Harvey back, and there was a man short to take McCoy, and he just put the ball. See, Galbraith, number 32, kind of tied up McCoy, and Rashad got behind McCoy and in front of Harvey, and it's a open area, a good seam, a good route, and a fine throw by Kramer.
The clouds are rolling in, and it's getting cold. Some people have given up on the Vikings, but their offense hasn't. They're still out there and humming. Drop back. Kramer getting rushed. Goes to the outside. Sammy White to the 7-yard line. A beautiful throw under a lot of pressure.
Well, you know, that's what happened on the second time now. The Green Bay changed up their defense, and over on that side, the cornerback, Mark Lee, ran with the wide receiver and gave Sammy White on the inside man-to-man defense on Estes Hood, and he just drilled the ball out there man-to-man. Good move by White. He made an inside fake and broke back to the outside, and Kramer knew he was man-to-man on Hood, and it was a good play. Nice throw by Kramer.
Remember, Kramer has won 7 football games for the Vikings in his short career inside the last 2 minutes. But he's got a lot of points to get this time. 1:48 left. First to go. He's jacking. Go to the right side. LeCount can't hang on at the 3. He's double covered.
That's really good he dropped that ball, actually, because they would have had to get up there and cost them a lot of time. Now they're going to get another shot at it, and the clock stopped.
Do you really like to see a receiver drop the ball? I've never seen a quarterback that would admit that.
Well, in that case right there, he only had 2 or 3 yards. What Kramer did, he pumped over the left side, and they were on Rashad. Or was that LeCount?
That was LeCount
on the right side, and really he wouldn't have gained anything. So now he's got another shot, and he saved a few seconds.
He's got 11 seconds to get the playoff. 1:44 on the clock. He needs 12 points. Sammy White in motion. Kramer's back now. He's got 3 receivers to the left. It's intercepted. Intercepted. A great play by Douglas, the linebacker. It was off the hands of the receiver down there. I believe it was Galbraith. That's 5 interceptions.
Tommy's really upset with himself. He took him down the field, and they scored there. They got a chance for the onside kick, and he really threw that ball behind White. White was in motion, and also White coming across. I don't know if that was a factor or not. He slipped when he was in motion, then he had to get going again, and I don't know if he went too fast and got too far out, and that might have had something to do with it. But right there, watch the balls behind him, threw it behind him. And of course, it's tipped up in the air, and big interception that time by Mike Douglas.
That was Galbraith that almost had it, but you know what? You can't take it away from that down 4, the rush line, because the Packers are getting some penetration in that pocket.
Yeah, Douglas just iced a big day for him. He's had a heck of a day defending against the pass. He's had a sack, a couple of interceptions.
1:39 left. Packers have the lead and the ball. Handoff to Ellis. The workhorse running out to the left side. Willie Teal coming up to make the tackle with Studwell. Don't forget, coming up later, the
blitzes have hurt him a little bit, but they took advantage of one blitz and hit Lofton on a big play. But overall, the protection's been good, and Dickey's back in harness again. He hasn't played since November the 8th. He got a shaky first quarter, but he's come back strong.
Trying to stall it out now. The clock is running. Nobody's calling the timeouts. 1:18 and ticking. You can see it. Packers have rolled in here with nothing much going for them except the fact that their coach needs it and they need it for their program, and they're playing away from home. Nothing like going to the other guy's ball yard and winning. 35-23. They were down 14-0 and then scored 21 straight points. Tight formation. Protect the quarterback and hit the deck.
I tell you, I bet Bart Starr down deep Would love to go to training camp next year with Jefferson and Lofton and Kaufman and Gary Ellis and Huckleby, and maybe get Eddie Lee Ivory back and Jolly and Gray. And this pack can do something in that Central Division.
Don't forget, Minnesota has Chicago in Chicago, Detroit in the Silverdome, and Kansas City here. A good defensive play. The Vikes might be in some trouble. Bart Starr and Bud Grant.
Bart Starr's a happy man right now.